Most people think they need to get back into shape because they want to look better. And yes, of course, looking in the mirror and feeling proud of yourself matters. But that is not the real reason. The real reason why parents need to get back into shape is because your family is not listening to what you say. They are watching who you become. They're watching whether you keep promises to yourself. They're watching whether you have energy for them at the end of the day, or whether you give your best version to your work and then give the leftovers to them in the evening. And I know that might sound harsh, but this is really where parents get fitness wrong. They think getting in shape is selfish. They think that spending a bit more time on their training, their nutrition, their lifestyle is sacrificing the time that they're spending with their family. But think about this. What if the opposite is true? What if neglecting your health is actually the thing that's taking you away from your family? Because when your energy is low, your patience drops. When your confidence is low, you hide. And when your standards slip, your kids see it. When you keep starting again every single Monday, you stop trusting yourself. So in this video, I'm gonna run through the real reason why parents need to get back into shape. Not to just become obsessed with getting abs or spending hours in the gym, but to become the person that your family can look up to. And I'm gonna break this down into 3 simple steps so you can change your health and your fitness forever. The first thing that you need to understand is that your kids copy your standards, not what you say to them. And this is an uncomfortable truth if you're honest with yourself, but it's really the foundation of everything and the mindset that you are bringing to your transformation. Because if you start thinking that you're being selfish by prioritizing yourself a little bit more, then you're not going to achieve the results that you want to within your transformation. Your kids copy your behaviors way more than your words. There's too many parents out there that are telling their kids everything that they think that they should be doing within their day and how they should behave throughout their life. They're really trying hard to bring their kids up well, set a good example for them, but they think that example is set through their words. But it's not, it's set through your actions, because your kids are watching everything you do on a daily basis, how you eat, what you tell yourself when things get hard, if you still stick to the promises that you make to yourself, if you stick to your routines and you stay disciplined and you have high standards for yourself. Fitness is a visible example of self-respect. And if you're not giving the right impression off to your kids, this is the example that you're setting for them. And this is what they're going to be absorbing and thinking is acceptable for them. If you're honest with yourself, you probably know this already. You probably know deep down that if you are not the living example of how you want your kids to live, then that is not acceptable. And that's not gonna make you feel good. And that's not gonna make their future very positive either. Do you really think that by drilling in words to your kids on a daily basis is gonna be more powerful than them absorbing and just looking at you and seeing what you do on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis? It's definitely not. You cannot tell your kids to be disciplined when you're not even following through yourself. It's just a complete misalignment, and at the end of the day, that's a definition of being a hypocrite. So actually in that case, you're not only just telling your kids that you think the way that you're living is acceptable in terms of your health and fitness, you're literally teaching your kids that it's okay to be a hypocrite and not keep the promises that you're making to yourself and other people. The same goes for your confidence. You cannot preach confidence, loving yourself and being confident within your own skin if you don't even feel like yourself and you're hiding behind baggy clothes and maybe even hiding behind your kids in family photos. Your standards literally become the invisible blueprint that your kids are surrounded by. They may not even consciously notice it now because they're young, but they are going to absorb this through their childhood and whilst they're growing up. If you flip this around and your kids are seeing you train, they're seeing you prepare your food or just be intentional about your food choices, setting boundaries, then that's what they're gonna learn, and that's gonna have a much more positive effect on them. This is really one of the things that hit home for me and why I started making changes with my own health and fitness when I was out of shape, because I realized not only was this having a negative impact on me and how I was feeling within myself, which I obviously wasn't happy with, but I was probably tolerating, it was also having a massive impact on the people around me that cared about me the most, because your environment matters. We are all products of our environment, and you're either going to be a positive impact on everyone around you's environment, or you're going to be a negative one. So you need to think about which one of those you really want to be. When I used to come back from my corporate job, I used to have no energy, no confidence, anxiety. I'm the oldest of my siblings, and I felt like I was coming back as a shell of myself. I didn't feel like myself, and I was giving off that energy to the people that I care about the most. If you're someone that really cares about your family, you want to be an inspiration for them, right? You want to bring them up, and you want them to be surrounded by positivity and growth so that they can go on and achieve everything that they want to within your life. That's obviously what I wanted as well, but I wasn't able to give that because of the foundations that I had and the deterioration that I'd had with my habits, my mindset, and my health. I thought about it like this: when I walk through the door, when I come back from work, am I raising the frequency and the standard of this household, or am I actually draining it and holding it back? And the answer was that I was draining it. And that was the worst feeling of all. I used to be in better shape before I started working, and I was telling everyone, my family, my friends, my siblings, my parents, how important it is to focus on your training and nutrition, but I wasn't living that myself. I was talking about things that I had done in the past and theory of what's important to work on, whilst I was being a hypocrite and not even doing the same thing myself. This is exactly what your family needs from you. They do not need you trying to pour from an empty cup and calling it sacrifice. They need you to stop trying to be perfect and start leading through consistency with your actions. The way that you're going to change the people around you and inspire them is through consistency, because the behaviors that they see consistently are the ones that you are going to be imprinting on how they're feeling and how they're thinking, and then in turn how they then act within their own life. If you do something through an action in your day, whether that's training, nutrition, whatever it might be, that is not going to be something that is left with them as an impression in their mind if you only do it once or twice, or you only do an 8-week challenge and then you go back to square one. You need to be doing things consistently, and that comes from building a lifestyle. It comes from abandoning the quick fixes and focusing on you, your body, your life, your routines, and building something that works long term. Your family is like a mirror, not just because they copy everything instantly, but because over time, they reflect the standards that they've been surrounded by. So the second step of completely transforming yourself and stepping up as a leader is realizing that your energy controls the version of you that your family see. And this is where people get fitness completely wrong. They think that fitness is just about being less tired, but your energy affects your mood, your patience, your discipline, and how much of yourself that your family actually gets. Your family don't just need you there, they need you present. They need you with higher energy. They need you to be capable to do things with them and present to actually make the most of your time that you're spending with them. This is the biggest thing that I realized when I was coming home from work, sitting on the sofa with my family, that actually maybe I was there physically, but I wasn't mentally there. I wasn't a capable version of myself. I wasn't able to really be present and connect with the people that I cared about the most. And that's the most defeating thing, because that's when you realize it's not really just about how much time you spend with someone. It's really about how present and connected and energized you can be when you're with them. So you need to stop asking yourself just, how can I lose weight? You need to ask yourself how you can completely transform your energy so that every area of your fitness journey can become easier, and then also you can spend more of that energy with your family. So you need to actually focus on the habits that are going to have a direct impact on your day and how you're feeling, whether that is making sure you're starting doing some training sessions if you're not already going in the gym, making sure that you are focusing on your nutrition and you have the right balance there of foods that are going to fuel you, but also foods that you actually enjoy so you can stay consistent. Or maybe it's your sleep routine, maybe it's your morning and evening routine, whatever it might be getting outside more to get some steps in. Whatever it is for you, it's going to be specific to you, and you need to focus on 3 things at a time. Make sure you nail those down, stack the wins, and then be consistent with them, and then you can start adding in more things so you can keep on progressing and get to the next level. But stop creating an endless list of things that you need to be doing right now, because there's always going to be things that we can improve on, but you need to focus on what is going to be making the biggest impact for me at the moment that I can actually be consistent with. And once you start building that self-belief back within yourself, that's what creates momentum, and that is really what is going to fuel your long-term transformation and help you get to that version of yourself that you want to be. Think of your energy like a phone battery. If you are just coming home after work at 3%, then your family is getting the energy power saving mode. And that is not the best version of you, and that is not how you're going to show up for them as you want to be. Fitness is literally the gateway to increasing your energy, and nutrition is one of the biggest ones of that. And that is an easy thing that you can start implementing to 10 times your energy levels. And so many people wait for their energy levels to increase so that they can then get started on their fitness journey. But it's the other way around. You need to start focusing on your nutrition specifically right from the start to get that extra energy that you can then put back into the journey and make everything so much easier for you in terms of building that long-term momentum. So the third and final point to understand is this: proper structure gives you freedom with your family. It does not take away from it. This is so important to understand because so many parents out there think that structure is going to be something that restricts them and takes time and presence away from their family. But actually, it's the other way around, as long as your structure is proper structure. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the structure is purpose-built for you, your body, your life, and the stage of your transformation that you are at right now, because the standards are going to be completely different from everyone in terms of their structure. Not everyone's structure should be the same. This is why it's important to look at you specifically and stop copying some random plans online that you found. Of course, if you have a really generic, rigid, restrictive structure, of course that's going to take time away from your family. Maybe you're going to be spending hours and hours in the gym, you're going to be cutting out all your favorite foods, you feel like you can't even eat with your family because you have to be so restrictive and be eating out Tupperwares. But if you have the right structure that is custom built for you, it gives you that freedom because it releases decision fatigue from you, because you actually have the guidelines to keep you in place without feeling like your fitness has become a chore. This means that you have fewer decisions in your day and you have the thinking taken out of it for you. You have less chaos, you have less starting over and over again, and you have simple routines that actually survive a real life with work and family responsibilities. Because without structure, every single thing in your life becomes reactive. You're reacting to situations instead of being on top of them. And this is why you feel like you're drowning with your fitness journey and you're so overwhelmed, because every time a situation comes up, whether that's your training, nutrition, lifestyle, you're reacting to it and trying to think of a solution there and then on the spot, rather than preempting situations and having a structure that actually fits your life that you can be consistent with. This is how you're going to make fitness a part of your life, which makes everything so much easier to manage. Think about two versions of you. You've got no structure version, which has no food plan, no training slots, random takeaways, missed workouts, weekend overeating. You've got Monday guilt. And then you've got the structured version of you. You've got 3 workouts booked in your week and backup plans if they don't go to plan and your week does get busy, which of course it sometimes does. You have a simple rotation of go-to meals. You have protein sorted. You've got your steps whenever you can fit them in your day, custom built for you that you know you can be consistent with. You have your weekend meals and strategy planned out loosely so that you know you can stay on track and still enjoy yourself without feeling like you can't go out with family and friends. And you have your family time protected so that you aren't needing to spend hours and hours in the gym doing endless amounts of cardio because you don't know how to focus on the other areas of your fitness journey. Exactly the same person and the same life, but completely different systems with less thinking involved and more control. So the real reason why parents need to get back into shape, it's not just about appearance. It's about leadership, it's about energy, it's about standards. It's about presence and actually becoming someone that your family can look up to. So after watching this video, don't just go and try and completely overhaul your life in this week. Just pick one standard, one simple habit that you can stick to this week and start building the momentum with that. One habit that your family can see and that you know that when they see you implementing this, they know that you are taking control and they know that they can see you being consistent. And that is the example that you're setting for them, not with what you say. This is how you rebuild trust with yourself and how you become a better example for them. And if this video made you realize what needs to change for you specifically, the next video on the screen right now is going to show you how you can start rebuilding your body, your confidence, and your life without fitness seeming like a massive chore. That's all from me though, guys. I'll see you in the next one.